Hey, what's going on? Aaron Murray here with the Players Lounge. We got another episode of The Lounge with myself and Darren Rencher. But first off, don't forget Kanga Coolers, 7 hours, no ice is needed. Make sure you go get your Georgia, Clemson, whatever school, go to their website, click the link below, use the code TPL2023 for 10% off your next purchase. 7 hours, you can get 2 rounds of golf in, you be on the boat all day, don't have to fill up ice. Throw in some cold ones, go have a good time. Kanga Coolers, click the link right below. Darren Rencher joining with me once again. Darren, what's going on, brother?
What's good, bro? How you doing? Always gotta say this, is King of Coolers is a proud Clemson product. So shout out to the boys, King of Coolers. Go check them out. Great thing they got going on. I'm glad to be joined another week. We're still in talking season, man. A lot going on. But we're ready to give you guys some interesting takes on just like where we are in this whole college football landscape. So let's get into it.
Yeah, well, first off, we're recording this on Thursday. It's the beginning of March Madness, which is probably one of the best days of the year. It's basketball all day long. I know you're in the office with your laptops on watching all the basketball games. I'll be doing the same damn thing. So there's always the talk of, could college football get to that point? And, it was the BCS era, which I played in, you were in, and you're also in the playoff era as well. Yeah. We expanded to 4. Now we're going to be expanding to 12. There's going to be people that say, let's do more than 12. We want more. We want more teams in, which I think is absolutely absurd. But could you see, I'm not saying 64 or 68 like basketball with the play-in games. Could you see more than 12 in the future, though?
Yeah, because is once you do one thing, there's always going to be somebody who wants to continue to do more and more and more. Because obviously there was the contention around there has to be two more teams at least that can compete to make the playoff or the national championship a little more competitive, a little more just inclusive. So we went to 4 teams. And I guess that lasted for 7, 8 years, 9 years. And it's been great. And the rhetoric has always been, especially amongst the coaches of these schools that make the Final Four, is like, it's pretty clear at the end of the year, for the most part, there's been some controversial years, who the top 4 teams are, and then you see who really the top 2 teams are, even like the playoffs this year, like Georgia, the national championship, that was just a disgrace. It was just bad. And so there's a bunch of disparity between good teams and elite teams. So I think people just want to see, they kind of got bored with the 4 teams because they were the same old teams every kind of so often, Clemson, Georgia, Ohio State, Bama, and you kind of throw in like an odd 4th every other year that would kind of be the team to have a really good Cinderella story. And so now 12 teams is going to be interesting. It's going to be really interesting. I don't know. Like, we're going to have to at least give it 4 or 5 years before we even start thinking about expansion. Because you got to have like a case to like, how is this going to go? Are these teams going to actually be competitive, or is it going to be like it's another game people would have wished they didn't pay for, So I don't know.
Yeah, I think the games will be competitive, though. Like the 1 through 4, like this year, if you would have done the 5 through 12, I think those games would have been pretty darn good. You may have had one blowout here or there, but I think those games would have been pretty good. I think the next round, you may have seen some major gaps between what the performance on the field would have been and what the outcome would have been. But I think the biggest issue with the 4 was not all the conferences were included. I mean, you've looked at it for, SEC had 2 teams, the Big Ten had 2 teams, Pac-12 really hasn't had an opportunity. So really you've shut down half of the country, not even half the country, but the entire West Coast has been said, hey, you are not included in this playoff. Good luck, but you're really not, a part of this. And it kind of sucks because college football, you want to get bigger, you want to get stronger, you want everyone to feel the love and the energy, especially in December and January when bowl games are going, when the playoffs are going, when the national championship's going. And if I'm someone that lives in Oregon or California, my teams really aren't competing. So why am I going to tune in and watch? So now all of a sudden, those fan bases on the West Coast have a legitimate opportunity to get in. So I do think inclusion with 12 is a right spot because everyone's going to be a part of the party. Everyone's going to have a fair shot to get in there. I think that you will see a significant drop from 12 down. Yeah, like 13, 14 will feel snubbed. They'll say, what the heck, we deserve to be in. Yeah, you're just reaching that point. I think we're in a safe spot. I don't think you can expand because of games too. I think that's something that we are
exactly.
Part of the rules that we've talked about with tightening the game up a little bit. Some of the new rules that will be implemented hopefully soon. Maybe no stoppage of clock on third downs or on first downs. No double timeouts, things like that. Well, you also don't want to add 1, 2, 3 more games if you add 20 teams, 30 teams, 40 teams. Like that is a lot of wear and tear on the body for these collegiate athletes. So, and plus they're not getting paid from the university. They're only getting paid through NIL. So, all that being said, I think we're in a good spot at 12. I don't see it changing. Also, I don't think, Darian, that we would ever have a true Cinderella story. Like, I don't think that we would have a Cinderella in the sense of a team could win 2, 3, 4 games in a row against the likes of an Ohio State, an Alabama, a Georgia, a Clemson, and make this run that we see in basketball. Am I wrong on that? Could you see like a group of 5 team making a run through a 4 rounds to make it to a championship?
I don't know. I'm not going to say never because we've never seen the opportunity to even be open to a school like that. Here's what I'll say is when I think about the benefit to having 12 teams, I think you'll really truly see the impact of a team really coming together towards the end of the season. Because we know, like, obviously the way that it has been scheduled and everything's been constructed is you really have to be great all year round. Like, obviously you can have some close wins, but you gotta, from week 1, you can't lose or even sniff that you are a beatable team. And obviously they get some leeway because the college football season is so crazy. Somebody ends up laying an egg. But I think this will really show to me the progression of a team because you'll have teams out there, like in the past, the two lost teams that are really good in December. When that's when you really got to be good. And so I do like that part because I think you'll truly see a couple programs kind of emerge towards the end. And that's what'll make it sweet. Because every year there's a team that's like really, really hot that I would love to go see play one of these 4 teams. But like even Bama this year, I would love to kind of see Bama come on towards the end of the year and get a shot. But they didn't have the opportunity. So I think that's going to be the most exciting part for all fan bases across the country is, hey, let's see. And it might turn out bad. Everybody might get the brakes beat off of them. Everybody been like, I told you so. But it also might be the thing where it's like, all right, we've been waiting for opportunity for a decade, and you finally gave it to us.
It ain't happening. It ain't happening. When it's basketball, it's 5-on-5. You can control the variables a lot more.
Yeah.
When it's football, there's a lot more things that have to go right for a team that is significantly outmatched to win a football game. And to think that you could do that multiple weeks in a row, that just ain't going to happen. I mean, we saw it for, TCU, they beat Michigan, but then they get stomped by Georgia. If you put a team like that is like, once again, don't have the 4 and 5 star guys, they may win one game. They may sneak up on one team. They ain't going to do it 2-3 weeks in a row. So
tell me this. I don't know if you know this or not, but before we move on, is how will this affect bowl games? Because obviously the top 4 teams get a bye. And so in theory, you don't play a bowl game, or would the second game be your bowl game? I wonder how that's going to affect like the playoff committee, like bowl games. Like,
well, I think the first round will be at home. Then second round, I believe, will be the traditional bowl route that we're doing right now in the playoffs. Okay. Yes. Sweet. Which I would love. I would love 2 rounds at home. I would love all rounds at home. Just make it like the NFL. Home field to the winning team, and then the national championship is at a set location.
That but a huge part
mess with the bowls.
A huge part of college, man. Bowl games are the times, man.
Yeah, but these aren't a bowl game though. It's a playoff game. It's different. This isn't like you're go have a fun week at a bowl game. Like you're preparing for a playoff game to move to the next round. I view that very much differently than you and I going to the Orange Bowl game or the Sugar Bowl game.
It is, but even then, like the 5 times I had, even when you still going to the playoffs, you still do enjoy, especially the early part of the week. You enjoy the experience of going to a different city with your best friends. You got some money in your pocket. You having a good time. So I don't want that to be taken away from college football because bowl games are one of the most memorable experiences within college football. So hopefully they can still keep that intact of like giving guys opportunities to go travel, their families to go travel and play in a different city, different stadium. I do like the home game for the first game, but obviously the best teams won't get a chance to even tap into that. But I guess they get to choose a market, so it's kind of it'll be all right.
We'll see.
We'll see.
Don't think. Once again, the Cinderella ain't going to make it happen. All right, I want to switch topics here real quick. I want to get more to ACC and SEC with this question. I'll pose the ACC question first to Darian, and I kind of know what the answer is, but we'll see if he surprises me. If you're going to take Clemson or the field right now, you got a brand new baby.
Yeah.
And you put some money into your 529 plan for future schools. And I say, you got to take that money out right now and you got to put it on Clemson or you got to put it on the field. Where are you putting that money?
Hey, I'm all in on the Tigers, man. Just because I was there the other day and just hearing the rhetoric around the building, around the new offense, Garrett Riley, the defense, this young freshman coming in. Like it's really exciting times in the building right now, which it's gonna be cool to see the fruition of how everything plays out. I think Coach Sweeney's made some really tough decisions as far as like things he wanted. He thought the program needed to take steps in the offseason. And so I think they got the makings to be one of those special teams. Like obviously quarterback play is one of the things that's kind of like been questionable. And I think that obviously hopefully K can take the reins. But every other position to me is super proven. Offensive line proven, running backs proven, receivers, if they're healthy, could be a really special year. Got a lot of guys returning. Defensive line is just reloading. Linebackers, everybody came back. DBs, they kind of got to reload. So they got the makings of a really good team. So I'm taking Clemson, but I will say the ACC is trending to be a more competitive league, especially with Jordan Travis at FSU. And that's a team that's going to be interesting to see because I like the league whenever FSU is better. I think everybody would say that. We like the league when it's a competitive league. So I like the quarterback play FSU. I like Drake May. I know they had some hot moments his freshman year, but if he really can come together and lead that team, they get some pieces around him, I'll be excited to see how that's going to play out this year. There's a couple other teams in the league that they're going to be exciting. I think NC State's never a team to like look over. You know, they got some transfers in the building. Dave Doran's always done a good job with that program. So I like the field, but I'm not taking the field. I just want people to see the ACC being competitive. That's all I want to see. Stop hearing some of this SEC rhetoric.
So I'm with you on that one. Like, I think that's the worry is the ACC is going to be more competitive. It's not going to be just, Clemson shows up and they're just better than everyone else. I do think to me, Florida State is the team that wins it all this year, with Travis back, what they did in the transfer portal. I love what Mike Norvell has done. I mean, he kind of went through the weeds and got through all the hard times there at Florida State and kind of emerged on the other side. And he looks pretty damn good as well as they head into this season. I don't believe in Klubnik. I don't. And I know he was young last year. I know it was kind of an interesting situation with him and DJU and kind of, who's going to start, who's not going to start. Fan base wanted to move on from DJU, but maybe Cade wasn't ready necessarily to take that step as the starting quarterback. And I think skill set wise, I think he's good, but that's why I want to see another offseason. I want to see what he looks like in spring. I want to see what he looks like in the spring game and summer and fall camp before I start feeling really good. But right now, if I had to put some money on it, I am not taking Clemson to win the ACC. If you're going to want to win it, I still believe you're going to need a top tier quarterback. And you said it. North Carolina has a top quarterback. Yeah, they got some issues they got to figure out on defense. And I think Florida State has a top quarterback and a lot of talent on both sides of the football that they've amassed, whether it was last year returning or through the portal as well. So I think Florida State wins.
Time will tell. Time will tell. I think
of course.
He needs some opportunity to prove himself, but I'm going with track record. Dude's a winner. People love him. I think he can sling it. He's got some really good people surrounding him. Like you obviously got Shipley, Phil Maffa. You got Antonio Williams.
Some damn receivers. They need some receivers to step
Antonio
up.
Williams.
Where are those first-round receivers at Clemson?
Antonio Williams is going to be one of those guys. Freshman All-American. I think Bo Collins was hurt last year. Adam Randall. They got a bunch of guys who are injured, man. So I think that if they can come together this year, I think it's going to be special. So we'll see. Time will tell.
Time will tell. All right, SEC now. Georgia or the field? I'll start off with this one. Damn right it's going to be the Dogs. Ain't no question about it. Georgia's the best team, not only in the SEC.
It's got to stop at some point, man. It's got to stop at some point. I think this is the year.
It ain't stopping anytime soon. It will maybe slow down with the 12-team playoff because it's going to be a little bit harder, obviously, to win a championship at that point. More games, another variable, another opportunity to possibly lose. But, who are teams that actually have talent comparable to Georgia? Ohio State, they're going to be breaking in a brand new quarterback. Alabama, I don't like any of their quarterbacks. Clemson, don't like their quarterback. I just went over that. Those are the teams from top to bottom that have the amount of 4- and 5-star guys that can play in the same field as Georgia. Georgia returns the majority of their defense, maybe the best defense that Kirby's going to have, which is really crazy because they've been the best defense, one of the best defenses the past 2 seasons.
They're really, really
they
good.
They return the best tight end, probably skill player in America. They return, they bring in top tier receivers. Some of the top receivers in the SEC transferred in. I love the quarterback position. I think all 3 of them are really good. I think Carson Beck is an absolute stud. So yes. And the schedules.
Hey, you give these Georgia quarterbacks a little more leeway than you give my boy Klubnik.
I've seen both perform, and Klubnik was not very good, especially in that Orange Bowl. And I know Carson hasn't played a full game, but when he has come in there and played last year, he was absolutely electric. I mean, look the part. So, plus I give Georgia's defense the edge too. I mean, Georgia's defense, with the returning from last season, they're going to be once again another top 5 defense, if not better. They may be the best defense in the country. So I think those variables will help ease the transition for the quarterback a little bit easier. And I think their schedule is easier than Clemson's as well, which is crazy. I think the East is just it's good, but Georgia's just that much better talent-wise than everyone else in the conference.
I'm taking the field. I'm not even be a Georgia hater. Like I really do respect. I respect the run, man. Like it's what y'all have done is incredible. But I'm just taking the field. I feel like I think Stetson was a huge part. Just like the mantra, leadership, the play. I think y'all had a lot of good guys in the program. I'm not saying y'all don't have a good season. I just think it's time for somebody else to kind of take the reins again in SEC, whether that's Bama or if my man down there at LSU can do something, get it done. I'd love to see Lane Kiffin kind of emerge, Ole Miss again. I think there's a couple of teams in the league that I think it's just kind of time for them to it's kind of their time. And that's how I would look at it. Unless y'all just go for a 3-peat, run the league again. But I think as a coach on other programs, it's like, all right, this is our time. They've had their moment. Obviously, Bama is kind of like, not saying they're down, but like they obviously didn't win the league like people have expected for the past couple of years. So I just think it's time for other teams to rise up in the SEC. And if it's ever time to make a move, you better make it now before Georgia reloads again. So make your move.
LSU is the only team that worries me, and they won't have to face them till Atlanta. And I still think they are deeper and stronger than them, but I do like their quarterback. So we will see. All right, last topic on the agenda today. We talked a little bit about the combine last week, what it means, how important is it, how not important is it. Well, we now take our attention from the combine to pro days. Now, all of a sudden, this is everyone's opportunity. If you got invited, not invited to the combine, your opportunity to get in front of scouts and show them what you got. I think this is more important than the combine. I think you get even more one-on-one attention, more meeting opportunities, more opportunities just to talk with the coaches, show them your personality, show them your intellect, what you know about your offense or defense or your position. They focus on you a little bit more during the drills as well. And it's great for guys that obviously didn't get to go to the combine. You know, those gems. I mean, what GMs will obviously be known for their first round picks, especially if you take a quarterback in the first round, but they're also going to be really well known for who did I pick in round 4 to 7. And all of those 4 to 7 round guys aren't at the combine. They're going to be at these pro days. So I think it's really important for the scouts, the GMs, and these players to really take it serious. And plus, too, you know, just for quarterback wise, a lot of guys don't do all the events at the combine. They may weigh in or they may do their, you know, maybe the 40, but they don't throw or they don't run routes. The pro day, most of the guys are doing everything. This is your time to shine because you feel more comfortable. You're on campus, you're in your practice facility, you're throwing with your receivers, you're catching from your quarterback, you're doing drills with your offensive line and defensive line. So comfort-wise, you feel more at home. You're ready to perform at a higher level. So I would say pro day, more important for scouts, GMs, and for the players who go out there and perform at their highest.
Yeah, I would definitely second that. I think pro day is huge, man. You see all the coaches really come out, have a lot more interactions, personable stuff. And I think it's just like your last, like, check in the box. Because even if you have a good combine, still guys want to see you move. And, you know, a lot of these guys from these NFL coaches, if they think you're a good player, they're going to try to break you at your pro day. They want to see you sweat. They want to see you huff and puff. They want to see you do things that people, like, are questioning you about. Can he move side to side? Can he catch the ball? You know, all these things that, like, are questionable before they, like, lock you in on their board. They want to see. So I think pro day is huge. And all of you go to, and they're always super quiet and super intense. There's really no, like, noise. It's kind of like this eerie, serious feeling. Probably until the quarterback finishes, you might get a clap or two then. But I think, yeah, pro day is huge. And a lot of guys across the country are getting opportunities right now. And I think the benefit, too, of playing some of these bigger programs is guys that probably wouldn't get looks are getting looks from some of the bigger prospects on their team. So at a pro day, man, you got a chance, like whether you're top or bottom, to really make a mark and leave a mark. And so I'm trying to think. We're kind of in the middle of that season. We got some more pro days left. A lot of guys are putting up good numbers. A lot of guys, especially at Clemson, this past couple days, made some money. I feel like you really can increase your stock. You go jump well, or even if you retest well. But more so, guys want to see that eye test, see you move, and see your personnel, like you said.
Oh, and say there's something you didn't do well at the combine, or you didn't measure well at the combine. Like you can always make that better. Hopefully, if you ran a slow 40, go run another 40 at your home turf. You feel a little bit better there too. So, and if you did run a good 40, then hey, I already did my 40.
Right, I'm good.
I already did my height. I'm good. I'm done. I'll go do some position drills, and that's it. So at the end of the day, this is the order of importance for me. Game film. Right. I would say individual meetings, pro day, combine. I mean, combine is I know people love it. And I know it's turned into this whole thing, and it's great for advertising and all that stuff, but it is so far, in my opinion, down on the totem pole. You just
but at the same time, I would say, like, I hate when guys get injured, because I had a couple friends of mine that have been injured through the kind of this draft prep process. The thing about the combine, it does well, and it's like the world we live in. You're really allowed to, if you do well, you can ride that hype. It only can help you for the most part. And so you see a lot of guys kind of like do well at the combine, do well at pro days. You get all the media hype, and it's only like just pushing your narrative for like, this kid's ready, this kid's the guy. And the only sad part, you see some guys get hurt and aren't able to really maximize this entire time. So it definitely turns into, like, not political, but it's just like, what guy's name is hot right now. And I think that really goes into sometimes like when a guy gets drafted, when he doesn't get drafted.
Hey, Anthony Richardson, perfect example, goes out there, looks like Cam Newton on steroids, bigger, stronger, actually not bigger, but he's pretty damn big, maybe weight-wise, but faster, can throw the ball better.
I'll give you
shorts on. I don't know in a game if he could throw the ball better than Cam did, but he is riding that hype train right now. So, yes, I agree with you. You out there and run a 4.3. You didn't put any stats the year before. There's going to be a lot of eyeballs on you of like, hey, just put him in my organization. I will find a way to make him good because he has too much damn talent. All right.
I'm going to tell you.
Go ahead. Oh,
the line guy says last example, because people are going to see this. One prime example of this was T. Higgins didn't run his 40 at the combine in 2019. There were like 6 or 7 guys. I think one of them might have been the one that, all right, you can't argue. I think it was Justin Jefferson. But beyond that, there's like 6 or 7 receivers drafted before T. Higgins. And the only reason was because he didn't really get to ride any of the media hype to me from the combine. He was an early second-round pick. But if you could go back and redraft, oh, my gosh. I think teams were like
there
feeling sick that they didn't draft T. Higgins. And like I said, he was one of the guys I feel like didn't really get the benefit from the combine hype. And other guys ran fast, jumped high, and kind of jumped him. But his stats were proven. He looks apart. So like you said, I think it's maybe too much stock put in the combine.
Way too much. Yeah. All right. Well, that's going to be another show of The Lounge. Don't forget, our boys at Cancun about to take it out on the course this weekend. Phil, the cold ones, have a good time. 7 hours, no ice. And we will see you next week, Darren and myself, for another episode of The Lounge.
See y'all next week.